G'day legends, I hope you're all fantastic. A quick one today. I want to compare the double tracking function in two pedals, the Geminus from KMA Audio Machines, which recently came out and I did a launch video with, and then the TC Electronic MIMIQ, which has basically been the gold standard for double tracking pedals since it came out. A very popular pedal. It's got a very distinct sound. I've done separate demo videos with both of these pedals on my channel if you want to check them out. But when I did the Geminus video, I was pretty curious to hear it side by side with the MIMIQ, and a lot of you asked me the same question. So let's hear the double track guitars for the Ragdoll song Rust. Three different ways. One is an actual double track, two separate takes, panned hard left and hard right. Then we're going to hear the Geminus with the width control all the way up. Then we are going to hear the MIMIQ on a single dub. So that's giving me a dry track and then a MIMIQ generated track on there. I've got the tightness on the MIMIQ at noon. I've got the time and level on the Geminus at noon as well, their default position. So it should be roughly in the ballpark of what I would consider, and I'm sure a lot of other people would consider, the stock sounds for these two pedals. Let's hear that. That's a pretty good demonstration of the overall character of each pedal on there. You could hear that the Geminus maintains the all-around tone of the guitar pretty well, whereas the MIMIQ is definitely hyping up a little bit of high end and it's changing the low end response on there, which in a mix, I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. We heard the isolated guitars side by side as well, and there is quite a bit of difference in the overall character between each of them. They do a very good job at adding some stereo width on there. The MIMIQ, of course, lets you have 1, 2, or 3 dubs on there, and the Geminus has some pitch modes, so you can get a kind of pseudo pitch detune out of it. Let's hear them side by side again. I'll just do some drop C chug it. reinforces what we heard in that previous example to me. The Geminus sounds very natural, for use of a better term. It's not fundamentally transforming the core character or tone of the guitar, whereas the MIMIQ is definitely hyping up the high end. It's tightening up the low end as well. And a little quirk about it is it's kind of hard to get unity gain happening on there because of that. There is this perceived volume increase. So, you plug the pedal in and whoa, it sounds louder. Loud is more good, right? I also think that the way it's kind of shaping the tone can be pretty effective in a mix with loud bass and guitars as well. It's not only double tracking everything, it's kind of tightening up and processing everything. Whereas the Geminus is just giving you your guitar tone wider. It's also got the pitch modes on there. So if you wanted that sort of Eventide micro shift or Yamaha symphonic style sound on there, that's really nice. It makes everything wider and it kind of makes everything greasier as well, which I certainly appreciate. Another thing that I appreciate about the Geminus is it's really easy to get unity gain on there, no matter where you have this level control. There's some processing happening in there so that if you turn the doubled signal up or down, it's going to compensate on each channel to make sure you're getting the same amount of output as having it bypass. So I guess in that manner, you could say it's a little bit more transparent, or it's just easier to manage your levels on there. Whereas with the MIMIQ, like I actually had to listen and meter the effect versus the dry signal on there to try to get that evened out. And I did do a tiny amount of post-processing on this video so that we get normalized levels on there, again, because loud is more good, right? So pretty interesting. I know the Geminus is more expensive than the MIMIQ. The MIMIQ has been out for a while. I think you could consider the MIMIQ a classic pedal by now. It's definitely one of the cooler, more forward-thinking pedals that has come out in recent times. And I think the Geminus just kind of picks up where that left off and gives you a different flavor and a different way of doing that. It does sound pretty organic. So I think if you just wanted to get a quick double-tracked guitar sound, if you're, say, recording demos or you're playing live, that would work really well without affecting your core tone. Whereas the MIMIQ, I think, is a little bit more of a character pedal in there. You definitely know when it's on, and you definitely have to learn how to use it and dial it in for your rig. I'd love to hear from all of you now. What did you think of the sounds in this video? I know I just used a giant Chungus guitar tone, but that's where I live for 90% of my life anyway. I'm sure if you were playing with a crunchier tone or clean stuff, you would have different needs in here. I should also mention that I routed everything the same in here, so it should have been a fairly consistent and fair comparison on there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you on the next one.